Hello, and welcome to another edition of Teddy Bear Wisdom. My name is Emily Johnson, and today we're going to discuss what you should do should you receive a summons from a court initiated by a collection agency or junk debt collector or credit pirate. Please keep in mind, this does not constitute legal advice, as I am not fit to give it, but instead, these are just some techniques that have worked for me that I believe will work for you as well. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so you receive a summons from a court telling you that you must appear on a certain day and that you're being sued by ABC Collection Agency on behalf of Visa or MasterCard or American Express. Okay, so after you answer the letters, and I've spoken about this in other videos, but what I do with the court documents when I receive them is I will find a document with the lawyer's first and last name and also their attorney ID, and that is the letter I use to respond to the courts with. And of course, you're keeping copies for your records. But when you respond to them, you date the letter with that day's date. You put that you don't have a business relationship with that particular entity, meaning the credit card or the collection agency, the collection agency. You don't have you've never had a business relationship with the collection agency. That you've informed them that they can only contact you by mail. That nothing will be signed in court. And you told the collection agency to leave your credit alone. And then I send that document into the courts. And also, if you want, you can send it to the collection agency. Okay? Now, on the day of your first hearing, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take some type of recording device, first and foremost. Usually, cell phones have a recording device on them. But it doesn't have to be your cell phone. It could be anything. But cell phones would be the easiest to sneak into court. So you might fare better with a cell phone than you would with other things. Okay. So you turn your recording device on just before you enter the courtroom because this is frowned on by the courts. Okay. But you'll never get a second chance to get a permanent record. So you want to make sure you do have that on at least. All right. So you go into the courtroom, your recording device is on. You want to make sure you ask the court clerk for their name. Also, the attorney that's there representing the collection agency. You want to ask their first and last name and also for their attorney ID. And keep in mind that their attorney ID may be different from the attorney ID on the paperwork that you receive from the courts because you're in a different state or, that maybe that attorney wasn't available, okay? But you want to make sure you get that particular person's attorney ID, all right? So you walk into court, you're asked to sign a paper sign-up sheet that you've arrived. It is okay to print your signature on that paperwork. That is the last thing that you will put your signature or your name on, whether it be printed or signed, okay? Because the whole key to this is the collection agency or the junk debt collector is trying to trick you into signing a contract with them. Yes, I said that correctly. They're trying to trick you into signing a contract with them. And everyone at the courthouse pretty much knows it. The judges know it. The court clerks know it. Everybody knows it except for the participants, okay? Or the people being sued. Okay, so after that, you'll sit down. You'll usually be in front of a judge, and that judge will read off maybe 50 to 200 names, and everyone that's not there whose name was read will get a judgment against them. If you are there because you did show up to defend yourself like you should, then when your name is read, you stand up and say, "Here." And then after the judge has read all the names, the attorney from the collection agency will then take you into a conference room and attempt to get you to sign a contract with that collection agency. Now, the attorney may say stuff like they represent them or they are them. When that attorney's mouth starts moving, I want you to think of everything that he says or that they say as a lie, okay? Because it is. The internal documents that you don't see will say, for example, ABC Collection Agency, we are the real owners of this debt. And it is that document that they are trying to get you to sign. It is that document that they will then present to a judge during your trial. And they'll say, "Look, Your Honor, see, we have a contract with this party." And then the judge will rule against you, okay? So you don't want to sign anything. That is the key to all of this, is that you don't sign a contract with these people, okay? So after he tries to make a deal with you for a couple moments and you decline, he'll say, "Okay, let's go to trial." And then you'll come back out, you'll sit on a bench, and then the court clerk will attempt to get you to sign the same documents. Now, the court clerk may say something to the effect of, "You're just signing that you're coming to court." You have to resist. It is so important that you also tell the court clerk no, okay? And you can let the court clerk ask you a couple times for a signature. And then when you get tired of them hounding you, what you're going to do is you're going to say, "Please put refuse to sign and hit enter and provide me with my court date." Okay? And if the court clerk won't do it, then ask to speak to a supervisor and tell the supervisor that you told the court clerk to that you weren't going to sign anything, and to put that into the system and give you your court date, and they refused. And then you ask the manager to. So the manager, by the way, should do it even if the court clerk won't. Okay? So you walked out of the court that day without signing anything. So they don't have a contract with you. Okay? They failed to get a contract with you. So technically, that should kick out the case, okay? Because they have nothing to present to the judge to say that you had some type of business relationship or agreement, all right? But it doesn't always kick it out of court. Sometimes collection agencies will cheat. They will falsify court documents and claim that you asked for a continuance when you didn't, if they don't think that they can trick you into an agreement. All right? So what you're going to do to counter that is a week before you go to trial, after the first hearing, but a week before the trial, what you're going to do is you're going to call down to the court and you're going to ask them, is my case still moving forward? If they say yes, then what you want to do is you want to get off the phone immediately and call your state attorney general's office. Let them know that you've been sued by a junk debt collector or collection agency. Give them the attorney's names and their attorney IDs, which you should have had from the first hearing, and tell them that you were sued, but when you went to your first hearing, you didn't sign anything. So you don't understand why the case is moving forward, okay? And that you believe that they may have falsified court documents, saying that you wanted a continuance when you didn't. By the way, that's felony forgery of consent, you guys. But good luck trying to get somebody to prosecute them for that. Anyway, so once you call the Attorney General's office and you give them that information, they should take care of it from there, okay? But, they should take care of it, but just make sure that you're keeping in contact and finding out what's going on. Also, what you also may want to do is contact the FTC. So, Attorney General's office first, and then contact the FTC and file a report with them and let them know that you've been sued by a junk debt collector and that you believe that they may have falsified court records. All right, so that is pretty much all I have for you right now. I want to take the time to say thank you for listening. This is not legal advice, just some techniques that have worked for me. Happy Easter, and have a wonderful rest of your week. God bless you. This is Emily Johnson, signing off.